Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Nhl Dfs slate for Thursday, February 23rd. We got ourselves a 10-game slate here tonight where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite value plays, and then we'll wrap up today's video talking a little prize picks. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals, where you can see 3 of these games are coming in with an implied total of 7 goals, 2 games coming in at 6.5, and then 5 games coming in at 6 goals even. And then take a look down here at the Vegas odds, where you can see each team who's favored to win tonight. And then here's a schedule update for the rest of this week. Video today and tomorrow. Nothing for this weekend, taking that off, but I will be back on Monday breaking down that Nhl Dfs slate. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight, starting with that first line for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We got Crosby centering Gensel and Raquel. Got the Edmonton Oilers at home here tonight, where we could definitely see a lot of goals. In their last 5 games, these two teams have combined for 32 goals, averaging over 6 per game. And there's no reason to think we won't see that here tonight. These are two teams that have struggled defensively at times throughout the year. Goaltending has been shaky for both teams. I like the Pens here because this line is very strongly correlated and a lot more affordable than I thought they would be as well. This Edmonton Oilers team is not afraid to take penalties, haven't taken the 5th most minor penalties in the NHL this year, and they have the 7th worst penalty kill, hitting at just a 75% rate. And then another line stack I like here tonight is that second line for the New York Rangers. We got Trocheck centering Panarin and Tarasenko, and I just think this line is way too cheap considering the talent and upside they offer. Since the All-Star break, they've played 8 games where they've combined for 10 goals, 18 assists, 28 points. Right now we're seeing Panarin and Tarasenko play up on the number 1 power play. Trocheck plays down on the second. Honestly, that's the only downfall I can see with this line. Trocheck not being correlated with Panarin and Tarasenko on the same power play. Outside of that, like I said, there's too much talent and upside here to be this cheap as a line stack. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Don't forget, I am running that Discord channel too, and if you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. We got a great group of people in there talking some hockey and talking some prize picks too. Alright, now diving into some of my favorite individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. Now, I do want to mention that I really like this game tonight between the Oilers and Penguins. I'll probably be pretty heavy on the Tampa Bay Lightning as well at home against Buffalo. But I wanted to talk about Alex Ovechkin here. It sounds like he should be back tonight in this game at home against Anaheim. Obviously, he missed the last handful of games, traveled back to Russia because unfortunately his father passed away, but did get back into Washington yesterday, practiced, and he was on the ice this morning as well. So I believe he's going to play. Let's make sure we keep an eye on that and ensure that he is in the lineup. But assuming that he is, he'll be back up on that first line in number 1 power play. And this really couldn't be a better matchup for him to get back on track here. You know, Anaheim is one of the worst, if not the worst, defensive team in the NHL, allowing a league-high 4.19 goals per game. They also have the 4th worst penalty kill in the NHL, hitting at just a 72.9% rate, and this is a team that's not afraid to take minor penalties, haven't taken the 2nd most in the NHL this year. So Ovi obviously has a lot on his plate, probably going to be playing with some emotion here tonight, but like I said, this really couldn't be a better matchup for him to get back on the ice. I then got Zach Hyman there of the Edmonton Oilers. Now, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record here. If you've watched my videos this year, you know that the Edmonton Oilers shuffle their lines a lot 5-on-5. But for the most part, we see Zach Hyman either play with McDavid or Draisaitl, or both of those guys on the same line. And that's kind of what we saw last game. I think it was around 13% of their 5-on-5 shifts they played together. And I kind of like this price here at $7,600 for Zach Hyman, someone who's been in the 8K range quite a bit here as of late. And like I mentioned earlier, I just like this game in general between the Penguins and Oilers. Hyman, 67 points in 57 games this year, has had no problem getting on the score sheet, and he's had no problem scoring against Pittsburgh either. Over his past 8 games, you can see he's racked up 7 goals and 1 assist. Would like him to shoot the puck a little bit more, but hey, if you're finding the back of the net, it's hard to ignore that. Next is Brandon Hagel of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Mentioned that I really like them here tonight. Would definitely get exposure to that first line with Hagel, Kucherov, and Point. Maybe even stack up that number one power play, mix in Stamkos and Hedman, who you can also see is on the spreadsheet. They got a good matchup at home here tonight against the Buffalo Sabres, a team that has not played very well here since the All-Star break, allowing 4.60 goals per game in their last 5 games since the All-Star break. That is the third most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 63.6% rate. And Brandon Hagel for $5,900 has been very good here at home this year. He's a point per game player with 13 goals, 15 assists, 28 points in 28 games. Would like him to shoot the puck a little bit more there as well, but when you have the opportunity of playing with Stamkos, Kucherov, Point, and Hedman, again, it's hard to ignore that. Now, another game I kind of like targeting in general here tonight is that between the Blues and Canucks, two teams who have struggled defensively all year long, but can definitely find the back of the net, so we could see a lot of goals scored in this game. I got Buchnevich there listed for the St. Louis Blues. I do like that price of $5,200. He's playing up on the first line in number one power play right now, and although I haven't highlighted him a bunch this year, he's been quietly pretty damn good with 43 points in 42 games. And again, I just like this matchup at home here tonight against Vancouver, who've allowed 4.02 goals per game this year, the second most in the NHL, and they've had the league's worst penalty kill all year long, hitting at just a 65.7% rate. And then on the other side of that game, I like Andrei Kuzmenko of the Vancouver Canucks playing up on that first line in number one power play as well. And he's kind of found his groove here since the All-Star break up on that first line. In 8 games, he's racked up 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points. And I do like the matchup, obviously, as well against the St. Louis Blues, a team that's allowed 3.65 goals per game this year, the 4th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 75.2% rate. Now, moving over here to the defensemen, and it's the same song and dance with the defensemen, stacking them up with forwards on the same power play. And all 3 of these guys have great matchups when it comes to the opposing penalty kill. Victor Hedman here against Buffalo. They've had the 3rd worst penalty kill in the NHL this year, hitting at a 72.7% rate. Justin Falk against the Vancouver Canucks, who have the worst penalty kill in the NHL. And then Gustafsson against the Anaheim Ducks, 4th worst penalty kill, hitting at just a 72.9% rate. And again, they take the 2nd most minor penalties in the NHL. So you could stack up Gustafsson with Ovi or anyone on that number one power play. Falk with Buchnevich or someone like Jordan Kyrou. Hedman, you could stack him up with Hagel, Point, Stamkos, or Kucherov. A lot of talent on that number one power play. But of course, got some honorable mentions there as well. Graves has been playing great for the New Jersey Devils here as of late. Parayko of the St. Louis Blues, I certainly don't mind that, especially if Torrey Krug does miss tonight. We should see Parayko up on the number 2 power play. Wallman of the Red Wings, Bouchard there of the Oilers. I want Bouchard to get more time on that number 1 power play. I would love to play him at that price on a consistent basis if he were, but still like him either way in a good matchup that could see a lot of goals tonight. Bokus there of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I honestly don't mind Columbus tonight. Just got word that Marc-Andre Fleury is going to be starting for the Minnesota Wild. That could be a sneaky contrarian play. And then Alex Goligoski there for the Minnesota Wild. He did play up on the number 1 power play last game, but Kalen Addison was scratched. It sounds like Addison might play here tonight, so Goligoski might get bumped down. But $3,100... worth noting if he's up on that number 1 power play. And then I got a couple of goaltenders here, higher priced and lower priced option. First is Linus Ullmark. I really don't know what I need to say about this guy. He's been fantastic. In fact, the best goalie in the NHL all year long. He's got a record of 29-4-1, goals allowed average of 1.88, and a save percentage of .937, averaging 18 DraftKings points per game. If you had to give the Vezina Award today, Ullmark has that locked up as the best goaltender. And then UC Swaros there at $7,200 is a little too cheap in my opinion, considering the matchup against San Jose. He's one of the best goaltenders in the NHL when it comes to tournaments or GPPs on DraftKings. He's really got some significant upside. Someone who can go for 25, 30 plus DraftKings points in any given game. And And as always, going to wrap up the spreadsheet here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. First guy I got there is Dawson Mercer of the New Jersey Devils, who's currently playing up on that first line in number 2 power play, where he's scored in 4 straight games, racking up 5 goals, 1 assist, and 17 shots on net, playing some really good hockey. Next is Tommy Novak of the Nashville Predators, plays on the second line, plays on the number 2 power play, kind of bumps back and forth between the AHL and NHL, but has played very well when up in the NHL this year. He's racked up 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points here in just his last 10 games. Honestly, my biggest concern with him is he does lack ice time, but we have seen that improve here over the last 2 games. Maybe starting to earn a little more ice time considering how well he's played. And then Mikey Eyssimont there of the San Jose Sharks, currently playing up on the first line in number 1 power play, but that's likely due to Timo Meier and Thomas Hertl being out. They could very well return here tonight, so keep an eye on their lineup. But if he's back up on that first line in number 1 power play, love this price here at $3,000. He does just have 1 goal in his last 5 games, but he's been ripping the puck with 22 shots on net. So again, certainly don't mind that price, and I also don't mind the matchup against the Predators, who have struggled since the All-Star break. And then to wrap up this video here, want to talk a little prize picks with you guys. Do not have the full set of picks out as I record here this morning. Still need some of those goalie props to come out. Would like to see some block shots. But once those do come out, I'll go through, do my research, let you know my final picks in a comment below on this video. And I'll be sure to pin that comment as well. I'm also posting those picks in my Discord channel too. And if you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. Now, if you have not signed up for prize picks yet, but you want to get in on this action, I got a promo code that you should definitely take advantage of. When you're signing up, use my promo code GRIFF, GRIFF, and Prize Picks will give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Now, folks, take advantage of it because it is legit free money that you get to play with. You don't have to earn it back as a bonus either, like some of these other DFS sites. If you put $100 in right now, they'll match that deposit right away. So you're playing with that free money or house money. Now, you don't have to put $100 in either. If you want to put in 50, they'll match 50. You want to put in 20, they'll match that 20. And again, we'll match anything up to $100 as long as you're using my promo code GRIFF, GRIFF, upon signing up. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 10-game slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.